Hello, everyone. I'm Michael, and I am here to teach you today about how to do family history on your smartphones. And I think this is really a neat subject. I was coming home from visiting family, and I took the megabus, and I was sitting on the megabus in the middle of two big cities, and um, I didn't want to do anything else. I didn't want to do my other work that I had to do, so I just got on my phone and did family history. I couldn't use the Wi-Fi on the bus, and so I used data where I could, and it was really neat to be able to see how much I could do on my phone in the middle of literally nowhere, um, and uh, and be able to help connect myself with my ancestors. So I'm excited to share that with you today. Um, so let's see. So why do we want to do family history on our smartphone? Alluded to some of these factors already. The first being portability. We can always have it with us. When we're visiting relatives, when we go to visit grandma's house or whatever it may be, we can document memories. And it's a neat functionality where we can preserve those things right into our phone, right up to FamilySearch or other platforms as well. When we're traveling, we can go connect with our ancestors. We can find out which ancestors lived or um, uh, died or was born or whatever it may be close to where we are, so we can go visit them. It also allows us to connect with relatives in neat ways. And I'll try to hit on some of these factors later on as we go through the Family Search Tree and Family Search Memories apps. Um, I've heard it said, and I was unable to find the source on this, but about 90% of functionality of Family Search can be done on a smartphone. And I think that's quite amazing to consider um, how much we can do just on our phones, and the things that we can do in the palm of our hand that um, we can do it wherever. That doesn't mean that computers are bad. I think in many cases, doing family history on a computer is easier. We're able to do more, have more space, maybe have double monitors. You can use your mouse instead of and keyboard instead of typing on your phone. So in many ways, it's easier on your computer, but in the situations where you don't have access to a computer as easily, it works really, really well. I like family history on a smartphone for what I consider to be a green eggs and ham concept. If you're familiar with the Dr. Seuss story, Sam I Am wanted to introduce green eggs and ham to this gentleman, uh, creature, whatever it was, and he did so in a variety of settings, um, with a mouse in a house, in a box, on a fox, with a fox, on a train in the rain. Um, so many different settings. And well, I haven't ever done family history with a fox or a mouse, and I hope not to. I think that it's really cool that it can be done in so many different settings. Um, so I'm going to focus today on the Family Search Tree and the Family Search Memories app. Both of these apps are available for free in the Google Play Store and the App Store as well for both Android and iOS devices. They are free. All that's needed is a Family Search login. If you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that can be your church account. If you're not, that's totally great. You can create a free Family Search account, and that's available for anyone and everyone in the world. So I'm just showing screenshots of both of these where you can get them both the Family Search Tree and Family Search Memories apps. I'll go through the differences between these two apps later on. So I'm going to start with Family Search Tree, and as I do, I invite you to open up your phone, pause the video. If you haven't done so, download these apps and follow along, because I think you'll be able to get more out of it if you're able to watch the video that you're watching now on your computer and use your smartphone to follow along and explore some of the functionality. I think that'll help open your eyes a little bit to maybe see what the features are and maybe features that you want to come back to and use more often. So, so you can feel free to pause the video, rewind at any time. That's the beautiful thing about videos these days. So I'm going to start with the Family Search Tree. And when you open the app, you'll get something that looks like this. And for me, I use an Android device, and so most of my screenshots are Android. I will also show iOS screenshots where I have them, but it'll be really very similar. It's the functionality and the look and feel. So what you see here is a pedigree chart. You will be likely in the main center position. From this particular screenshot, I used one of my ancestors, but it'll look the same, very similar. You're also able to look at the pedigree chart in different formats. For example, looking at it in a fan view. This is like a vertical pedigree. You can look at it in a horizontal one as well. There's different views that you can look at as well, which make it really cool. If you click on any one individual, it will show you, it'll bring up the person's profile. And this includes their name, their vitals, and various pieces of information about them. This little bar right here, it can scroll left to right. And it includes different sections of tabs, including basic vital details, the individual spouses and any children they had, parents, and that's where you also find their siblings, the sources, memories, charts, as I mentioned, with a fan chart, and the ordinances for the temple and the status on those. So that's the basic overview. All of these different features of Family Search are found within the menu of the app. The menu is accessed differently based on the platform. For Android devices, it's found in the top left-hand corner of the app in the 3 bars. For iOS devices, it's located in the bottom right with the 3 dots, but also say More. So you can find the menu in either one of those. I'm going to go through each of the features one by one, and basically in the order as presented in the menu. The exception to this is the search historical records, and that I'm not going to cover that here only because I think that it's best done on the computer. So you can definitely do it, and I'm going to encourage you to do that if you're remote and wanted to look up a random document when you're out and about. But for everyday use, I think the computer is the best way of searching records. But everything else can be done on the app, and you can see lots of cool features with that. So I'm going to start with tasks. Tasks are things that need to be done. This is your basic default de facto to-do list. So if you are ever bored, or if you ever want something to do, you can go to your tasks, and you can always have something to do. So next time you ever feel bored, you have no excuses. There's 3 different types of tasks, at least 3 main ones that I come across every day. The first one is is ordinances that are ready for the temple, and this is where these are individuals whose names and details and information have been entered, and all that needs to be done is their temple work. So what you can do is if you see this green temple icon, you can go in and reserve their name, take it to the temple, and perform ordinances there. The yellow temple icon is for ordinances where more information is needed. There's a certain minimum amount of information that's needed for temple work to be completed, including a standardized name, birth date, and location, just basic fundamental information like that. And the last one are record hints. And the record hints are when an individual or multiple individuals have indexed through the Family Search indexing platform various records, and the index records through their system match the information of an ancestor on your tree. So the name matches up, the birthday matches up, and maybe some other information matches up, and it's allowing you as a non-computer individual to go in and say this record matches this person, and or the computer says that, and you can say yes, that's true, done. And by doing that, you can attach that record to that individual's profile and provide additional genealogical or family history data um, to help you learn about that individual, their life, what they did, things that they were interested in, work that they did, where they moved around, things like that. So I'm going to focus today on record hints, and um, as there's always record hints to do, um, and it can keep you busy. So when you click on the tasks button from the menu, you'll find a menu that looks something like this. Now there's two ways, as you can see, there are the different types of records. The record hint, that needs more information, and the ordinances that are ready for the temple. There are two ways of accessing the record hints, and that's the first one is by clicking or touching. I'll say clicking, but it's really touching because it's an app on your phone. So by touching the blue record hint button. So when you do that, it pulls up another page of all of the different hints for that individual. And the second way of doing that is by going into the individual's profile by clicking on that, opening up their personal profile, and if you'll see right above where their picture would be, there's a blue record hint button as well, which I think is pretty cool to see that. It shows you there's opportunities to work on. So if you click on that, touch that, it'll bring you to that page as well. So there's two different ways of getting to this main central page. To access a record hint, you click on the down arrow, and it'll bring you to, it'll show some more information about that record hint. You can go and compare that information, and what you will see is that the information for that record will appear in one column, and the information from the family tree will appear in the other. I've done research on this individual, so I know that even though the locations of birth are slightly different, I'm not worried about those differences. But it does show whether the information is different, if there's a different spelling, a different birth date, and so forth. And it's beholden to you as an individual to go check those. And if there's really big differences, then you want to be cautious that you attach it, because maybe it's not the same individual. And maybe there's just two individuals by the name of John Smith that lived in the same time and same city, and they didn't know each other, for example. And one record could apply to one of them, but not the other. So you want to be careful, but in general, it'll match, I think, fairly well. These arrows scrolling down on the page, you'll see some information, likely, that where it appears on the record, but not on the individual. So what you can do is click on the Add button, and from there, it will move over, that information will move over to the family tree side, thereby importing the information into family tree. At the end, when to the very bottom, it allows you to provide a reason. And I like to provide a reason just for good record keeping purposes. It kind of shows why you attach that record, if there's any disputations in the future. So you provide a simple reason. That's what I put, and I click yes and attach. From there, that'll be done. It allows you to go in here and record it for others in case it's like for a census if there's a mother and father and children, you can attach it to all of those individuals.